Meantime, the clock is running for millions of people who missed out on stimulus checks to claim that payment. The Government Accountability Office says about 10 million people are still eligible for stimulus payments but haven't collected them. 3 rounds of stimulus checks were sent out during the pandemic, and the IRS uses tax returns to decide whether people are eligible.
He has said that he is indicating opposition to Social Security and Medicare cuts. In an interview, he said he didn't close the door on finding a way to help future beneficiaries. GOP critics of Manchin, who is up for re-election, seized on the statement as evidence that he wants cuts. But the senator's office tried to quash that by saying that Manchin continues to oppose the cuts. Manchin made it clear that he's not willing to do this, though, and he questioned whether there was a smart, affordable way to help people out. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI and SSDI. There's a ton of news, folks, that you guys have to know. Joe Biden is taking big action this week. The Biden administration has confirmed the next steps that Joe Biden will take to address inflation, taxes, and the wealthy, and as the debt too. Joe Biden will cause a fight over raising taxes when he introduces a budget plan next week, something that Senate Democrats who face a tough road ahead are trying to project their majority on. Democrats campaigned on repealing the former president's tax cuts for the election after Sinema and Manchin balked at key elements of Biden's tax plan. Talk of repealing any of the tax cuts, everybody, before the next election had fallen off the table, and Senate Democrats have recently steered clear of insisting that any deficit reduction plan that comes before Congress includes big tax increases. And is Biden putting the topic back in the national spotlight? During the event, Biden said, "I want to make clear I'm going to raise taxes, but no making less than $400,000 is going to pay more in taxes." But there is little desire among Democratic lawmakers on Capitol Hill to put vulnerable people like Sinema Manchin and John Tester on the cutting board. Senator Tester, who announced his re-election plans next week, says that he could favor proposals to increase tax equity, but he would not support anything that will raise taxes for the lower and middle-class families. Tester said the possibility of a recession caused by rising the interest rates, of course, is a reason to be cautious about raising taxes. Senate Democrat Debbie Stabenow, a member of Democratic leadership and the Finance Committee, told The Hill Democrats are mostly unified in opposition to adding deficit reduction deals to legislation. Manchin punched holes into Biden's tax plans in the last Congress by saying he would support raising the corporate tax rate to 25% instead of the 28% level favored by Biden. The number of people applying for unemployment benefits in the U.S. fell for a third straight week. The good news for American workers, but potentially bad news in the fight against inflation. So, applications for jobless claims in the United States for the week ending February 25th fell to 190 grand and to 192,000 next week. The Labor Department says that in the 7 straight weeks, claims were under 200,000. Applications for unemployment benefits are considered a proxy for the number of layoffs in the United States. The Fed has raised its main lending rate by 25 basis points, its eighth rate hike in less than a year. Plus, the Fed's hawkish interest rate policy appears to be slowing inflation. Recent data has suggested otherwise. The Fed's rate hikes cool a red-hot U.S. job market, which has put upward pressure on wages. As a result, last month the government reported that employees added better than expected 500,000 jobs in January, the lowest since 1969. Though the U.S. labor market remains strong, layoffs have been mounting in the technology sector, where many companies are overemployed after a crisis boom. Microsoft, Amazon, Twitter, and DoorDash have all announced layoffs in recent months. And the real estate sector has also been battered by the Fed's high rate of inflation. It only means one thing, folks: stimulus are necessary now.
An unprecedented amount of stimulus money coming to cities all across Metro Detroit. Tonight, many have questions as to where those funds will go.
Municipalities say they could forgive everybody's property taxes and still have half the money left over to spend. But for many, this money is badly, badly needed, although they didn't believe it when they first heard how much they were getting.
So guys, you may not be eligible to receive the COLA increase from your Social Security payments. That's because historic high inflation rates are just leading to a few more changes to Social Security and its monthly checks. So you have to take action in order to claim extra relief, because you may be receiving Social Security checks this week, but there are changes to the federal program, and it could affect many of you guys' stimulus money, because around 48 million retirees actually receive Social Security checks each month, and there are currently more who will be willing to follow in their footsteps over the next several years. And currently, the Federal Insurance Contributions Act payroll taxes applies only to annual income up to $147,000. This maximum taxable income will increase to $160 grand in 2023. It represents the largest one-year jump in the history of Social Security. And according to the Census Bureau, around 19.6 of U.S. households make 150 grand or more in 2021. It translates to an even bigger 25 million households. However, single heads of households made up roughly 35% of total households in the consensus. Now, if you use this figure to estimate, that means at least 9 million Americans, everybody, will be impacted by this increased maximum taxable income next year. Now, Americans who receive Social Security retirement benefits actually have not even fully retired yet. That's for at least some people. And anyone who claims the benefits before reaching the full retirement age could actually have benefits withheld. In 2022, the federal government will withhold about $1 in benefits for every $2 earned above $19,000. So the government will withhold $1 in benefits for every $3 earned above $50,000. These two thresholds will increase in 2023. The lower amount will be raised to $21,000. The higher amount will be raised to $56,000. A survey even conducted earlier this year by the Nationwide Retirement Institute found that 42% of respondents plan to file for Social Security benefits below their full retirement age, yet they keep on working. In addition, Americans who aren't even retired yet won't even receive the 8.7% COLA that retirees will enjoy next year. The average Social Security retirement benefit will increase again in 2023 thanks to the historic COLA, the maximum benefit that is. This means that the base amount that the millions of Americans who haven't retired yet can expect from Social Security will be greater as well. And depending on how far away your retirement is, folks, you should know this. You actually could be in store for a much bigger benefit amount. Social Security has increased its monthly benefit already, in all but 3 years since implementing an automatic annual COLA in 75. Granted, these increases, they're only being made due to inflation. It's because the purchasing power of Social Security retirement benefits actually isn't even going away in real dollars. In some ways, the purchasing power could actually even decrease despite regular COLAs. So while there are significant changes and challenges to Social Security, everybody, it will impact Americans who aren't even retired yet. Some of the biggest changes are yet to come. Social Security will become insolvent by 2035 if nothing is even done. It will mean a reduction in benefits of around 24%. Now, Delaware residents have less than a week to submit their applications for the latest round of checks. The state has even issued 782,000 direct payments of $300 for adults. However, state officials say thousands of more residents qualify for the rebates. The Democratic governor signed a bill in April. It established a 2022 Delaware rebate program. It hopes to help return $200 million to taxpayers at this time. So residents have until the end of the month to even claim the stimulus money. If you're missing it, well, you can wait until December 31st to get the stimulus check. Because the Delaware secretary has even said that if you're ready to send a check, you can contact the office to get the check forwarded to you. So be prepared for more stimulus money in the next coming days.
Hello. Good afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon. Right. We're right now having the National Defense Authorization Act on the floor, so we're very excited about the fact of bringing up under suspension. Hope to have a very strong bipartisan bill, but I'll get to that further. But first, I mean, the joy, the pride, the euphoria,